Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 1230 a.m. I am Will Sutton, and guess what? Chief Eddie Compass is back. He's back. Welcome back, Chief.
I'm back, and I'm here to hear you.
All righty now. So Chief is back in the seat, back in the studio, and we are here with you today. There's so much going on. We want to make sure that you are on time for your appointments or your school or your work. And so it is 7:03 a.m. This is prime school time, Chief. So we want them to be safe out there. And, boy, you can really get caught with those school zones.
Oh, let me tell you, those school zones are there for a reason. We got to keep the kids safe. So, you have to be very vigilant. You have to be very observant because those school zones are nothing to play with. You get a big, hefty fine when you violate the rules and regulations of the school zone.
Yeah, it seems like you only going 27, but it's a 20. Uh-oh.
A lot of times we fall asleep, too, on the school zone. You be going like 25, you figure everything is good, and then all of a sudden, boom, oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be under 20.
Yep. That 20 can get you because it's so easy to get into the 20s and feel like I'm going so slow.
Right.
But nope. Get out there and be careful. Keep your eyes open. Watch not just your driving, but the other drivers. And, of course, watch the babies so we can keep them safe. Well, good morning to everyone. I pray that you had a wonderful night and the Lord has blessed you with this day as he has blessed us to be here. We've got Congressman Troy Carter coming up today, of course. It is Thursday, so it is Congressman Troy Carter Day. And we're also going to be hearing from Ochsner and Junior Achievement during this show. And we're going to hear from Coach Mack. We're going to hear from Coach Mack a little bit later as well. So those are the things we've got planned. Sometimes things change, but those are some of the things that we've got planned for you today. Of course, what is the big thing that is happening on Saturday? Election Day.
Time to vote.
Time to vote. So for those who voted in early voting, thank you. Close to 39,000 people voting early, double the number of people who voted in the early voting period in the 2017 election. It was used in 17 instead of 21 because Mayor LaToya Cantrell didn't have much significant competition for running for the second term. But in the first, there was some real good, challenging competition. And the early voting came out, and we had, I think, about 22,000 people. But close to 39,000 people, early voting, that is impressive. So that is very, very good. You can no longer early vote. You can go to the polls on Saturday to cast your ballots. And, of course, for those 14,000 of you all who requested absentee or mail ballots, you still have a chance to get it in. Can you get one now? No. Nope, it's too late. Too late. You cannot get a mailed ballot now. And Orleans Parish Registrar Lisa Manning Bridges was here to talk about that yesterday. So you can get it in if you have one. And if you have one, you can take your chances and put it in the mail as soon as possible this morning if you think it's going to get there by 4:30 tomorrow. But I wouldn't take that chance.
No.
I would not take that chance. I would go ahead and get that completed. Or help Granny or TD, get the ballot filled out and get it on over to Perdido Street, to City Hall. Get it on over there and hand deliver that mother to make sure that your vote is going to count. So you can do that anytime today while they're open, and you can do it anytime tomorrow while they're open. You won't be able to do that on Saturday when it is election day, and you can do it up until 4:30 p.m. on tomorrow. So if you got it in hand, and there were 14,000 of you all who requested it, doesn't mean you have to vote by mail, but you have that option. So we know from a historical perspective that a lot of people request their ballots, but then they decide to go and vote early, or they decide to go and vote on election day. But if you have it, that's a good option. You never know what's going to happen. So you can go ahead and get that ballot in today or tomorrow.
Well, when I look at the early voting, I was very, very encouraged. We look at getting our vote out there as an obligation to this radio station, and Will and I are very adamant about that. We talk about it every day, and the reason we talk about it every day because it is extremely important. It's going to determine the next 8 years, and everybody always says it's a 4-year election, but like I said, I'm a student of history, and in recent history, no mayor that has won the first term has ever been defeated in the second term. So basically, this is a decision that's going to last 8 years for all practical purposes. When you look at it, you look at the candidates, you looked at the debates, you looked at do they line up with your ideology, and you make an informed decision. And when you make a decision to vote, that's probably going to be one of the most important things you do as a citizen. Our whole society is predicated upon democracy and the right of the individual to choose who they think and believe will lead their city in a direction in which they feel comfortable with. Everybody comes from different socioeconomic backgrounds. We have different histories. We're different races. We're different genders. We're different sexual orientations. But the one thing that we all have in common is we want a better life. We want a better quality of life. And when you look at candidates, you have to look at their past performance, because that's the greatest indication what their present performance will be and their future performance will be. You look at what have they done when put in positions of power, what type of organizations did they espouse to help? And when you look all the circumstances and take into totality what each and every candidate has done, then you choose. Endorsements are important. Your parents' influence, your circle of friends' influence, your children's influence, all those things are important. But ultimately, the decision comes down to you, the voter. And like I always say, people have made the ultimate sacrifice to give us the right to vote, to determine our destiny as a society. Many countries in this world do not have the privilege and the right to vote, and their vote counts. So when you go into that ballot box, you look at that obligation as something that's not going to just determine your quality of life and your future, but the future of your family and kids. So we encourage you to vote, and vote in a way that you have done as an informed voter. And then no matter what the outcome, you can rest at peace that you did your job, you did your due diligence, and you did your basically duty as a citizen of this city of New Orleans.
That's right. And so make sure that you make a plan for voting on Saturday. And we'll be talking some more about the campaign and politics during this show and tomorrow, because we want to encourage everybody to be as knowledgeable as possible and to help you make sure that you have not only cast your ballot, but that you are making sure that those around you, those you love, those you like, and those you just around,
Right.
that they have an opportunity to vote. But meanwhile, there's some other news, Chief. There's some big news that has happened yesterday and today. And probably the biggest news is the last of the 10 escapees, Derek Groves, was captured in Atlanta yesterday. The last one. So a number of the others, some were caught in the first 48 hours.
Right.
One ended up just getting out of jail and going to the French Quarter.
Yeah. I know he was sightseeing. He was a tourist.
Oh my goodness. But there were those who were out for some weeks before they were recaptured, and Derek Groves was out there for 5 months. 5 months.
That's a long time.
And we don't know a lot about where he was between May 16th and yesterday. But what we do know is that there was a Crime Stoppers tip
Right.
to the New Orleans Crime Stoppers, and that tip assisted law enforcement officials to narrow it down to a very specific house on Honeysuckle in Atlanta, and they were able to get the appropriate law enforcement officials out there, and they were able to get in the house, and they were able to search for him, and they couldn't find him, but they added gas canisters, and they had at least one K9 officer, and they were able to find him in a crawl space. So he has been recaptured. He's in the hands, I believe, of the Atlanta Police Department, and we'll go through the processes of getting him back here.
Right. When you look at it from the perspective, Crime Stoppers is one of the greatest resources that you have in a law enforcement entity. When I was superintendent of police, I had a great working relationship with Crime Stoppers, and they did an outstanding job. And this is just another example. When the community gets involved in the process, it works well. It works extremely well. And I want to thank the Marshals Association, all law enforcement, federal and local agencies for working together. And that's just an example. When they always talk about that's a fragmented system through law enforcement, it's very territorial. But when you have all these people coming together, working together, great things happen. And, when you look at it from the perspective that no one got hurt in the capture, he was brought in safely. He was not in a position where he could hurt others. That's a win-win all the way around. And the sheriff's office, I know they're happy that now that chapter is gone in their life. All 10 people are there, and whether it be Sheriff Hudson or a new sheriff, that's going to be something that's going to be behind them. Because, if Sheriff Hudson would win, or one of the challenges would win, that would be something that would take a lot of resources and a lot of energy, because it's something that was on the forefront. So now they'll be able to get to the business of working on some other problems, but that won't be one of them. And that was like a major black eye for the city, because it was even a jeopardy question.
Yeah, right.
That's the magnitude of this escape. So now that it's behind us, now that everybody is back, I know the investigation is still ongoing as to who are involved in it, but this part of the scenario is over. So very, very happy for that, and very proud of the law enforcement agencies that came together to bring this to fruition, and also a big kudos to Crime Stoppers and Darlene Costanza. They did a great job.
Yeah, I can't underestimate the value of Crime Stoppers generally, but particularly in this particular case, because it's been so long. And it doesn't mean other tips in the 5 months weren't helpful, because there's a lot that goes into police work, and you never know which set of tips might be helpful to the police. But, of course, they can't announce every day throughout the day, we got this tip and it says this. That would hinder the investigation, but apparently this tip came in over the weekend, and so they were able to work based on that tip and other information across the several days to make sure that they were in the best position to have the right street, the right house, and the right person they were looking for inside that place. As is true with something like this, you get varying reports about what's going on, because residents, neighbors, passersby see things going on, and they make assumptions about what is going on. And then even police who are on the scene, no one police officer, not even a chief, knows everything that's happening, because he or she has to have dispatched teams and working with law enforcement partners to make sure that the area is as safe as possible, especially for a person who's identified as armed and dangerous as Mr. Groves was. But there were other people in the house, We don't know anything about the other people.
Right.
But law enforcement officials say that they expect to have other arrests as a result of other people in the house. And then also because if you're on the lam for 5 months, you're more likely than not going grocery shopping,
Right.
driving around, getting some gas, going to the movies. I mean, more likely than not, you're
Right.
not doing a lot of those things. Who knows? Maybe he did take in a movie or two,
Right.
but probably disguised. But we don't know much about that. But all of those details are still something that the law enforcement officials are working on, and it's so important that Crime Stoppers, exist. And in this particular case, it's a $50,000
Wow.
reward if it's the tip. And so somebody out there is, I guess, feeling more comfortable that Derek Groves is in custody and that that money will be forthcoming. And of course, the way that works, I mean, you don't just, you can't have 150 people say it was my tip.
Oh, they know.
It doesn't work that
It doesn't
way,
work
right,
that.
Chief?
It doesn't work that way. Let me tell you, Crime Stoppers does an outstanding job of keeping the identity of individuals' secrets to protect them. So the anonymity is extremely important, and they've been doing this for years. And like I said, I know the director, Darlene Costanza, very well. She is an aficionado. She is extremely adroit at this, and I mean, the money is definitely given to the person who actually was responsible. Because I mean, you've never heard one time that somebody turned someone in and complained that Crime Stoppers didn't give them the money. Crime Stoppers is a very reputable organization. They have done this for years and years. And they have tremendous results. And they've kept the city a lot safer.
Yep. Well, I'm sure there are listeners in Atlanta, in the metro Atlanta area. You know the SWATs, Southwest Atlanta, too strong. And for those of you who are not familiar with Atlanta generally, that is a hot spot of neighborhood community action, grassroots organizations, and political power base. I don't think there's a mayor since Maynard Jackson who hasn't come from the SWATs.
Wow.
I mean, it's that kind of area, and though it's called the SWATs, it's not just incorporated city of Atlanta, because College Park is actually in Fulton County.
Okay.
And not in the city, but that's a part of the SWATs as well.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if I'm on the lam, I'm probably going to go to Des Moines.
Yeah. Right.
Someplace like that.
Anchorage, Alaska.
And if I'm going to go to Atlanta, I'm probably not going to go to the most high-profile Black community.
Yeah.
To hide out. Of course, if that's the only place where you got friends who are going to take care of you, then okay. But I think I go to Des Moines. It's less likely that Derek Groves the police would be looking for Derek Groves in Des Moines. Yeah. But hey, to each his own, and he was out there for 5 months, longer than I think any other jail escapee from the Orleans Parish Jail.
Right. One thing I found interesting too, that his grandmother was Kim Groves, the woman that was killed during the Lynn Davis investigation. So it's very ironic. It was extremely ironic that that was her grandson.
Yep. Well, Mr. Groves will be arraigned and will be brought back from Georgia. He will be headed to Angola.
Oh, yeah.
Which is where the other 9 escapees have been being held. So there will be more developments today. So look out for that. Watch for that. Listen for that as we move along. It is 7:21 a.m. If you got somewhere to be for 7:30, you just might make it, depending on how far along you are with getting ready, getting dressed, getting your keys, walking out the door, getting in the car. You might make it. It's 7:22 a.m. You're listening to WBOK, 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. The last escapee from the Orleans Parish jailbreak in May is finally back behind bars. Derek Groves will go before a Georgia judge today after being recaptured yesterday afternoon in southwest Atlanta. Groves is believed to be the mastermind behind the escape. Governor Jeff Landry says he will go straight to Angola when he is extradited back to Louisiana and will spend the rest of his life there after being convicted of murder last year. Groves was on the run for almost 5 months. Then a man is dead after a crash in Mid-City. New Orleans police say it happened a little before 8 last night on Tulane near South Scott Street. Investigators say that man was walking when he was hit by a vehicle. He later died at a hospital. And the Metropolitan Crime Commission reports that New Orleans has seen an increase in violent crime in recent weeks. They say the week ending Sunday, there were 6 murders, 6 shootings, 4 carjackings, and 2 armed robberies. The silver lining when it comes to murders, that number is still down from previous years. And finally, you can see the Pelicans in action before they tip off for the regular season. The Pels are holding their annual open workout in the Smoothie King Center tomorrow at 6 p.m. It is free and open to the public. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by Lowe's. Kofi Bruce stepped into his role as Chief Financial Officer at General Mills in February 2020, just 1 month before the pandemic reshaped the world. That experience was a crash course for Bruce in navigating both expected and unexpected challenges. He spoke to Bloomberg about how he found a way through one big stumbling block for General Mills, steering the company through inflation without passing costs on to consumers.
If we do our job right and we're driving productivity, that takes some of the sting out because that's costs that we don't have passed back certainly ultimately to the consumer. But the other job is to make sure that if we've got consumers that are looking for value, that we're hitting them with the right promotions and the right incentives, as well as we've got pack sizes to kind of meet their price point expectations. That's a big part of the job.
Kofi Bruce is an executive sponsor of General Mills' Black Champions Network. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
I'm David Patan Sr., owner of Whole Water and Food Over Medicine Academy, coach, consultant, and instructor. We're excited about our 21-day challenge. Stop, prevent, and reverse disease today. Cholesterol, diabetes type 2, high blood pressure, along with chronic illnesses and diseases. We believe that the gift of wellness is the greatest gift, and for $30 per month, $1 a day, you could have this gift for you and your family.
I'm Phyllis Washington, and I've benefited with health and weight loss.
For your gift of $30, healing and wellness can be yours. Call 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. The Whole Water Store. See you at 2135 Washington Avenue today.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, The Arnie and Cary Show.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK 1230 AM. The talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. This is Will Sutton, and with me is Chief Eddie Compass. Yes, he is back. Had some other duties and responsibilities he had to take care of the last 3 days. You know, he's got these different titles, including chief and coach and poppy.
My main kind.
But he had some other things to do, and we're happy that he's back with you and with me. Of course, if it's Thursday morning, it is Congressman Troy Carter Day. So welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Congressman, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Great to be with you guys again on this beautiful Thursday morning. God bless you both.
God bless you, sir.
Well, thank you. Well, Congressman, there's so much going on. There always is, but it seems like this day there's a lot of stuff going on. Certainly, we want to hear more about what the heck is going on with the government shutdown, and maybe we can touch on some national flood insurance program. But one of the big pieces of news out of not just New Orleans, but nationally, is the arrest of the last of the 10 Orleans Parish jail escapees, Derek Groves. I mean, that's 5 months that he has been on the loose from May 16th until they got him in Southwest Atlanta yesterday. What are you hearing on Capitol Hill?
Well, you know, people obviously are concerned whenever we have a breach in our systems that are supposed to be secure. It's always concerning that we should have in this modern day the most sophisticated systems that people that have been adjudicated are not able to easily walk out. Unfortunately, we've seen these breaches happen far too often. I think there was yet another near miss just a few days ago. And listen, everyone's happy. I think you breathe a sigh of relief, particularly those alleged victims that may have previously been a part of this spree. You know, obviously you're fearful that the individual may come for you. So listen, now Mr. Groves has been captured and he'll be taken back. I guess he's back in New Orleans now if he hasn't gotten back yet. And we'll have yet another day in court to deal with a new set of charges.
Yeah.
I don't expect that he'll be in a position to be getting out again anytime soon.
That's right. As you noted, people were fearful because he was on the loose, and that included some assistant district attorneys who had prosecuted him and witnesses who left because they were concerned that he might be looking for them. So certainly, based on what we know at this point, no one was hurt during his time away. They got him, and no one was injured or killed as a result of that police operation yesterday. But he'll be on his way to Angola, and but it still, puts a light on our jail and what happened on May 16th and what needs to be done. So thank you for weighing in on that.
Yeah,
of course,
that shouldn't be looked at from a political spectrum. It's a matter of fact, right? It's not a matter of politics. It's a matter of we all have a responsibility to help secure the prison from a federal standpoint. I know I've sent lots of money down for reentry programs to assist. I know the state does, and local government funds our prison system. A safe jail benefits our entire community, and so we will continue to work with whoever the next sheriff is, be it the existing one or a new one, to make sure that we bring resources to assist, A, making our prisons safe so people can't get out, but B, also creating meaningful reentry programs that people who want an opportunity to rebuild their lives have that opportunity, so we don't have the continued recidivism where it's just a revolving door. There are multiple parts moving at the same time that requires all hands on deck.
All right.
Congressman, I want to applaud you for the help that you've supported. But, one thing I think we need to bring to light, too, is our tremendous job, tremendous work done by the Federal Marshal Service. I mean, they took the lead with this. They were diligent. They never gave up. And I think just the network of relationships that they fostered throughout, the country was major in the resolve of this without any major conflict. I mean, it was a peaceable resolve.
No doubt about it. And for those peace officers who took this very seriously, with crossing multiple jurisdictions. And I'm very proud of our Federal Marshal Service who do a phenomenal job. So thank you for pointing that out, Chief.
All right. And Congressman, of course, we have big news development over in what's called the Middle East with Israel and Hamas, a ceasefire agreement and first steps of a peace plan. It's still being developed and pieces being announced. From your vantage point in Congress, what do you see that has happened, what's happening now, and what should we anticipate today and in the coming days?
Well, thanks for the question. Thanks for giving an opportunity to talk about this. I will tell you that I'm cautiously optimistic. I have long sought for a peace plan, opportunity for a two-state solution, opportunity for there to be peace in the Middle East with the recognition that people had the right to coexist. I've seen so many false starts as it relates to these issues that I'm going to continue to hope for the best. We know that there's been a tremendous amount of, just in my estimation, unnecessary bloodshed. The flotilla that recently was captured with American citizens on it while trying to bring humanitarian aid, unacceptable. The blockage of humanitarian aids getting to Gaza to women, children, civilians who were blown up in hospitals. Listen, the right to defend yourself against terrorists is a no-brainer, but the right to blow up citizens, hospitals, gives me great concern, and the apparent abuse by Netanyahu is untenable. So I'm hopeful that a peace solution is on the rise. We certainly cannot continue on the path that we're on, and so we'll be cautiously optimistic and prayerful and watching it very, very closely.
All right. So are there things in particular that our folks in your congressional district can, pay particular attention to as this ceasefire and peace plan develops?
Yeah, I think at this point we have to kind of wait and see. There are a lot of moving parts. The president often says things that doesn't come to fruition. So let's wait and see. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but the President Trump hasn't always told the truth. So let's see what happens.
All right, very good. The Congressman Troy Carter is on the line with us right here at the Good Morning Show. It's 7:36 a.m. If you got someplace to be at 7:45, you just might be able to make it, depending on how far you've got to go. Meanwhile, the WBOK 1230 a.m. talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422, if you want to get in the conversation with our Congressman Troy Carter. Right now we have a call, Congressman. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Fabulous.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
First, shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable as well as the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. Mr. Congressman.
As a proud father, man, nothing better than a Fatherhood Roundtable.
Straight up. I appreciate that. We need you to take and pay us a visit over here by 1529 Newton Street in Algiers, your home city, whenever you get some time. That's the first thing.
I look forward to it, brother.
I appreciate it. The second thing is, I find it quite strange that how we so concerned about what's going on overseas, but we turning a blind eye at what's going on right here. When we look at and pay attention to the people that's supposed to be protecting us, it's the same people that's constantly murdering us, and then not just murdering us, but covering up what just happened. Well, we just found out what happened with Kyron Lacey. And the same people who was in charge of the investigation when it came to Ronald Green is going to be the same people that's investigating what's going on with Kyron Lacey. So what I want to know is, what are y'all prepared to do in case this governor, as well as the Louisiana Attorney General, sides with the Louisiana State Police Department? Let's not forget, this governor and the Attorney General right now was the same people who was in charge when Ronald Green was murdered. I'm going to hang up and listen.
Thank you for your call, Aaron.
Hey, Brother Aaron, thank you. Kudos to you, man, for the Fatherhood Roundtable. I want to come and visit you guys. My team has made note. I'm going to get them to schedule something to come visit with you just as soon as possible. I appreciate the great work you're doing. And you may recall, during the whole Ronald Green ordeal, I got the U.S. the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, involved to conduct what's called a patterns or practice investigation. That investigation proved that there was, in fact, a pattern of abuse. But then we came to the end of the Biden administration, and all of those investigations became challenging. The problem that we have now is we have a presidential administration who doesn't share the same views that we do about police misconduct. Many of us were mortified by the fact that Ronald Green, although with amazing evidence, did not happen. His people were not brought to justice as we hoped they would be. So listen, man, we're going to keep fighting. We're fighting uphill. We don't have folk in office who quite understand our plight. The Trump administration has sought to weaponize Department of Justice, has sought to use the FBI and federal agencies as his own kind of Gestapo. And the best way to change that is for us to vote and to get control of those officers who make these investigations and demand that they do what's right, demand that they follow the Constitution, that demand that they follow the rule of law. I will continue to fight and watch this very closely. I will continue to use every resource that I have from the federal government to insist that the state and local government and all of those jurisdictional leaders do the right thing. But you often hear me talk about the 3 C's, the Congress, the courts, and the community. And we need to be in unison. Congress will continue to do what it can in the way of passing laws and keeping the lights on and holding people accountable. We will fight in the courts to make sure that when they don't do it, we challenge their actions. And then the third is we need good brothers like you, Aaron, and others to stay active, to stay up as you clearly are. And I appreciate the fact that you've done your homework. But let's educate others and let's encourage people to vote. This coming Saturday is a big election. And regardless of who you choose to vote for, you've got to get to the ballots and vote.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron. And we're in conversation with Congressman Troy Carter, as we are each and every Thursday, barring unforeseen circumstances. So we thank the Congressman for being with us. I am Will Sutton. You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m., and this is the Good Morning Show, and I am here with Chief Eddie Compass. Congressman, we have another call. Good morning, Roy. You're on with the Congressman.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing? Good morning, Congressman. This is
Good morning, Roy.
technically an old issue, but thank you. This is an old issue, but I think this is something that needs to be discussed. There's a large disparity concerning economic development between the St. Bernard Parish area and the New Orleans East and the Lower Ninth Ward that was affected by Hurricane Katrina. The ruling by the Supreme Court, when it was challenged concerning the report by the Army Corps of Engineers that excluded New Orleans East and the Army Corps of Engineers. And I think that issue needs to be revisited because when I go and travel that area and I look at the economic development in Chalmette and St. Bernard area compared to the Lower Ninth Ward and New Orleans East, there's a great disparity. And I think that matter needs to be revisited. What's your say concerning that matter, sir?
Well, fair enough, Roy. Thank you for bringing that attention. You know, we know that since Katrina and even before Katrina, quite frankly, the disparity existed in creating real economic opportunity in what I deem to be one of our last bastions of economic hope, and that is the diamond in the rough of Eastern New Orleans. And fortunately, we're going to see a huge opportunity with Bayou Phoenix, which I believe is going to be an incredible stimulus and spark for economic development, not only in New Orleans East, but should bleed into the surrounding parishes and surrounding states. But you're correct. My team is, as always, when we're on these calls, taking good notes on suggestions that come to us. And we will explore and revisit and then report back. But I think that's an excellent point. It has been my cause for many years to fight for fair economic development for Eastern New Orleans, for the entire region, but certainly for Eastern New Orleans because of its greater compilation of land mass, home ownership, and solid individuals who can support the economic growth that hasn't happened to the extent that it can. With Bayou Phoenix, with Lincoln Beach, with the residuals that would happen from that, there's going to be a flow that will be phenomenal, I believe.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Right now, Congressman, we have another call from West Bank Mac. West Bank Mac, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Congressman, thank you for all you do for the state of Louisiana and for your district. One thing I recognize is that our Constitution is under attack. We got black babies and seniors being wakened in the middle of the night with Black Hawk helicopters in Chicago, snatching people out of their apartments. What do you foresee? What entity might be able to save us from this? Because this train is going in the wrong direction. And I was wondering if you have any idea what entity may be able to stop this train and get it off track because our Constitution is being shredded.
Brother, you once again have demonstrated that, and I love it, that we're conscious, that we're watching, that we're paying attention, and that's what I ask every single Thursday, that we consistently exercise that third C in my 3 C's, which is community, staying active. And you put your finger right on it, brother. We are in a constitutional crisis. Our very democracy is threatened by a president who wants to be a dictator. And every action that he is taking demonstrates, rather it is the attempt to militarize the streets of major cities, or be the demise of our court system, or the demise of our education system, or to take away health care. What we're fighting for right now with this government shutdown, and Democrats aren't going to back down. We're going to continue to fight for health care. The ACA tax credits, otherwise known as Obamacare, Trump has been trying to kill from day one. Why? Because he hates Obama. never mind that this has been a wildly popular ability to help people be able to access health care, people who make too much money to get Medicaid but not enough money to pay for their own insurance. This meets in the middle. In my district alone, 43,000 people will suffer nearly 200% increases in their health insurance if this happens. So we're going to continue to fight. We're going to fight to push back against the effort to, with this big ugly bill, to have 17 million people roll off the rolls. So we continue to see the demise of our democracy. Look what's happening in Chicago, what they're planning to do in New Orleans, what they want to do wherever there are either black mayors or democratically held leadership in place. And listen, we aren't stupid. We can see the play. And you ask what agency? The number one agency, my dear brother, is the ballot box. Because until we control the House, Senate, and White House, at a minimum during midterms, we have to get the House back. During midterms, we must get the House back, because when we get the House back, we can then stop the bleed. And then we can concentrate the next year on getting the White House back. And we can do that when we vote. And when we vote, we control those agencies. We stop this denigration of our democracy, as you have adequately identified and eloquently presented. And together we're going to do that, man, but we can't do it alone. We got to all be together. We got to work together. We've got to vote together, and we got to demonstrate that when we vote, we win.
All right. Thank you very much. Congressman, we are on the line with Reverend Calhoun. Reverend Calhoun, you're on the phone with Congressman Troy Carter.
Good morning, Rev. Congressman, I'm interested in the Environmental Protection Agency. In a recent meeting with the Sunrise Food and the railroad and the port, it was spoken to about, at least we asked a question concerning monitoring as well as alerting the community in terms of if air quality drops. I want to find out, is there any, given the current turn down on environment, is there any way for us now to get any kind of protections from this grain, from these grain in the air, any protection from the rodent population that will increase due to this? So I guess what I'm asking is, because of being furloughed and all that, as well as that it does not seem to be of interest to the Trump administration or the Landry administration in terms of environmental protection, what is left for us to do to fight these kind of things that's coming into our neighborhood, into our community, and your viewpoint as to how we do it? I'll hang up.
Yeah, Rev, you always have good observations. And again, we put more money in the Biden-Harris administration and pushing back against environmental injustice with the Inflation Reduction Act. This administration has sought to undo all of those measures. Communities that deserve to breathe clean air and drink clean water, this administration has taken away all of the guardrails to punish polluters and essentially given them free rein to do whatever they want. And so we have to continue to demonstrate that environmental concerns are very important. Unfortunately, right now, under this administration, Trump is getting rid of many of those grants, as you know, that we fought so hard to make sure that communities have a seat at the table when operating and working in the area of clean water, clean air, and air monitoring, and those measures that would protect communities. This administration sees it quite differently, and that goes right into what I've been saying all along, and that is their desire to control the entire country from the White House, from the Oval Office, and not recognize our checks and balances, which the Constitution provides for, so we don't have a dictator. Having said all that, we will continue to work arm in arm to push back against those efforts that this administration has to diminish the power of EPA. These things will only be heightened with the government shutdown, because not only is the government under the president's leadership talking about the furlough, they're talking about laying people off with no promise of bringing them back. Listen, we're in day 9 of a government shutdown. The government shutdown the Democrats fought to not have happen. Republicans left Washington. We stayed all day, every day, waiting for them to come back to the negotiating table. They never came. And we're going to continue to fight to open government, but we're not going to do it if they ignore the needs of the American people, and that is to provide adequate and fair health care. We're going to stand firm. We're going to fight. We're not giving in.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Congressman, we have another caller. Good morning, James. You're on with Congressman Troy Carter.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing? So good morning to the guests, and thank you, Congressman, for always standing up and talking to the people.
Thank you,
I have a question. The DNC, are we vetting anybody in particular? Who should we be looking towards stateside for us, and also the next potential presidential candidate? Who should we be looking at this moment? Thank you.
James, thank you, brother. There are a number that are talking about running for president. We have Wes Moore, who is the governor of Maryland, who is a dynamic leader. We've got the Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. We've got a number of individuals that are talking, and it hasn't refined itself to a point as to who the candidates are. There are a number that are kind of doing trial balloons to determine. I suspect in the next 6 to 8 months, you start to see that more refined, and we'll start to be able to begin a vetting of who is interested. And we will be bringing that to you in real time, because we need to make sure that as a community that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot by having multiple candidates diluting the strength. We need to find as best we can, vet, unify, and have a strong candidate that understands and will fight for the democracy that we deserve, a democracy that is constantly under attack by this administration. We cannot survive another 4 years of what apparently would be a J.D. Vance candidacy to succeed Donald Trump. We can't let that happen. So we will use this station and others to make sure that we keep you informed. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Councilman, can you touch on the National Flood Insurance Program? Because I know that's something the listeners were very interested in.
Yeah, well, the National Flood Insurance Program, unfortunately, has expired. It expired with the shutdown of the government. I and Mike Ezell, a Republican colleague of mine, had bipartisan legislation that would have extended the life of the National Flood Insurance Program and stopped its expiration. The leadership never brought it for a vote. We did this back in April in anticipation of what we believe might be a government shutdown. And so, we've seen this play before. So we got ahead of it in a proactive way to demonstrate that we were doing our homework, only to have the leadership of the House not bring it up for a vote. And as a result of them not bringing it up for a vote, our flood insurance program has expired. Now, what does that mean in practical terms? If you have flood insurance already, it means nothing. You're fine. If you're up for renewal during this shutdown, you're not going to be able to get flood insurance. If you're attempting to buy a new home right now and you are getting a mortgage, you will not be able to get flood insurance, which means it's going to delay home sales. It's going to impact our economy. It's going to impact people's ability to move into their new home. It's going to those people that have insurance and is coming for renewal. It's going to put the banking industry at tremendous risk because they will have properties that they have put mortgages on that are subject to the next great storm. Remember, we're still in hurricane season. Also, remember, some of the greatest floods that hit our communities was not due to a storm. The great May 3rd flood, that was not a hurricane. That was a rain event. So we know these things can happen, and that's why we tried to get ahead of it, Chief. So I'm glad you brought that up. We will continue to fight to have the flood insurance restored. But again, our Republican counterparts are unfortunately not willing to meet us at the table to negotiate.
All right. Thank you very much, Congressman. I know we got to let you go momentarily. You probably should have been gone already. But, of course, Saturday is Election Day. One of the great things that happened is we, with early voting, more than doubled the number of people who got out and voted during the early voting period from September 27th to October 4th. Do you remember anything like that? And talk about the importance of voting on Saturday.
Listen, this has been a very challenging election period. A lot of nuances. I will tell everyone out there, regardless of who you choose to vote for, you got to go vote. You've got to exercise your right to vote. You've got to take a long, hard look at the candidates who has the experience, who has the integrity, who has the wherewithal to do the job, and you got to go vote. Again, regardless of who you choose, this is not a political show to make endorsements, and nor will I in this format. But I will tell you, everyone must go out and vote. We just concluded a week-long early vote where we've had record numbers of people to participate, which is fantastic. It's a great sign of our recognizing the importance of the power of our vote. But now we have to also, come rain or shine, early Saturday morning until 8 p.m. on Saturday night, you gotta vote. You gotta call your friends. You gotta pick up your loved ones. You gotta check on your senior citizens, your individuals who turned 18. You gotta remind them the importance of exercising their right to vote. Got to be all hands on deck because every single election is a dress rehearsal for the next presidential election, and for the midterm elections that will give us the House of Representatives back, which will be able to give us the power to fight back against Donald Trump and his evil regime. So let's take advantage of the opportunity. Let's get out and vote this Saturday. Call a friend, call several friends, open up your phone directory, make phone calls, tell people how important it is to get out and vote. Vote for the person of your choice, but please vote.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Congressman Carter. We appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing updates about the government shutdown and what's happening with the developments in Gaza around Israel and Hamas. We know that you're doing the people's business when you're on Capitol Hill and when you're back here at home. When do you think you'll be back home for a little stretch?
Well, I'm actually home right now.
All right, good.
So we'll be back in D.C. next week.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Keep doing the people's work. Let us know of anything that we should be aware of between now and next Thursday. And folks, you heard from our Congressman how important it is to vote. Saturday, Election Day, is the last opportunity to vote, but you have until 8 p.m. But please don't wait till 7:58 p.m. But if you're in line, they will allow you to vote. Thanks again, Congressman Carter. Have a blessed day.
Hey, God bless you guys. God bless WBOK.
All right.
You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today is a WDSU First Warning Weather Impact Day. Fog is expected once again. By noon, most of that fog should clear. A few spotty showers are possible with highs in the upper 80s and low 90s, feeling warmer than that. A cold front is moving in today, completely moves in through tomorrow, and then that brings us lower humidity by Friday. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
I'm Michelle Woodfork. As NOPD Chief, I managed a budget of over $180 million, accountable to the department, the City Council, and most of all, to you. As Sheriff, I'll bring that same discipline, real transparency, and direct accountability. Because every dollar should protect the public, not be wasted through incompetence. I'm Michelle Woodfork, and you deserve a sheriff you can trust. Paid for by Michelle Woodfork for
New
Sheriff.
Orleans is facing a $100 million budget deficit. But where was Helena Moreno, the candidate who promises to be a 24/7 mayor? She missed 60% of the city council's budget committee meetings. That's not leadership, that's negligence. Now our city is broke and the people are paying the price. Helena Moreno talks about being everywhere, but when it mattered most, she was nowhere to be found. New Orleans deserves a leader who shows up. Helena Moreno, 24/7 talk, 60% no-show.
Paid for by people for a better New Orleans.
New Orleans is an easy city to love. It shouldn't be a hard place to live. I'm Matthew Willard, born and raised in Gentilly, proud to carry on my family's tradition of public service. In less than 6 years, I passed 36 bills that made a difference. Now I'm running for City Council at Large Division 1 so we can keep living in the city we love. Safe, affordable, and one that gets the job done. New Orleans, let's make it happen. Paid for by the Matthew Willard Campaign.
What's the future for New Orleans? Will city services ever function efficiently? Our people need answers, not slogans. That's why the Nonpartisan City Services Coalition has asked the candidates for mayor how they plan to fix city government. Want to know what they said? Go to cityservicescoalition.com to see for yourself. It's time for action, not excuses. The next step is yours.
Paid for by the City Services Coalition.
Our city thrives when every business has a fair chance. But when it comes to promoting equality, Helena Moreno has been anything but fair. In 2024, Moreno blocked a properly awarded sanitation contract to Black-owned Henry Consulting, giving the deal instead to a political supporter. Moreno opposed extending Richards Disposal's contract after nearly 20 years of service. It cost us $19 million more, all so she could favor a political ally. This year, Moreno refused to renew a 12-year marketing contract with the Black-owned Spirits Group. Moreno even refused permits for 4 Black-owned restaurants to locate in New Orleans East. And when one of the city's most transformative projects went to a vote, Moreno refused to fund the city's 50% share of the Black-owned Bayou Phoenix development. There's a warning. Moreno plays politics. Our city pays the price. Paid for by people for a better New Orleans PAC.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. I am Will Sutton, and I am here with Chief Eddie Compass. We're providing you with all the news and information you want to know, should know, might want to know. And, of course, we can't cover everything, but we like to cover as much as we can, especially the very tippy top of the most important news. Right now, we're going to get a Derek Groves update from our own District Attorney, Jason Williams. Good morning, DA. How are you?
How are you guys?
Oh, man. Great.
Fabulous.
Great to hear from you, sir.
Wonderful. Well, that was quite a day yesterday with the action in Southwest Atlanta. The last of the 10 Orleans Parish jail escapees, Derek Groves, captured in a Atlanta neighborhood. And, of course, we know that you and other folks who are part of law enforcement and justice systems been on the lookout for this guy. And now that he's in custody, that brings not an end to this, but the end of the search for him. What can you tell us about what's developed since yesterday?
Well, I mean, it is as described. We realize that in order for any individual, especially someone who's as recognizable as Derek Groves, was getting help from others in the community, others in other counties, other states as well. There were two individuals not known to law enforcement at the time, at least two, who were found in the residence that he was found secreting himself in as well. Big thank you to the U.S. Marshal Service and to the chief of the Atlanta Police Department and those folks because they jumped into action rather quickly when that tip came through our own Crime Stoppers here.
And sometimes people look at Crime Stoppers, and because they don't announce who provided the tip that earned the reward and that led to significant progress in investigation or the capture or arrest of someone, sometimes people think that might not be a real thing. But can you speak to the importance of Crime Stoppers with this situation?
Yeah, absolutely, Will. In fact, I mean, a lot of people are thanking the U.S. Marshal Service, and they certainly deserve our thanks and all the other partner agencies that played a role. But there is no role more important than the role of our private citizens and community members when they weigh in and say, I saw something. Every single one of the 10 was recovered either because private citizens saw something strange or recognized the face and called it in. It would not have happened without this. And look, the reason people don't hear the names and we don't celebrate and publicly thank those folks who call those tips in is because Crime Stoppers is anonymous, because we don't want to put anybody in harm's way. I dare say there's a number of other people who did not want to help Derek Groves or any of these inmates, but were just too scared to come forward. And so Crime Stoppers and law enforcement take these tips very seriously, and we also take the anonymity of the person who provides this information very, very seriously, and it's always protected.
Chief?
Well, being a former chief of police, I know the complexity of an operation like this, and I just want to publicly thank you for your leadership role. You're not taking any bows or anything because you're so humble, but I know that you were at the forefront of this investigation because of the position I once had, and your leadership was instrumental in this coming to fruition. So I want to thank you just from somebody that's in law enforcement that knows the complexity of something like this.
Chief, I appreciate it. I take my hat off. I take my hat off to all the folks that I work with on my team, especially the folks on our OSINT team. That's our digital forensics. They were scrubbing jail calls, Chief.
I know.
Getting that information.
The public really doesn't understand that. It's extremely complex, and you guys took the lead on that. So that was a great thing. So you can break it down to them, explain.
Well, the thing is people talk on those phones. They talk on those phones about where they're going to be next. We knew who was going to be picking people up. They talked about apartments. Those pieces were able to be put together. But I got to really tell you, I know we compete a lot with Atlanta when we talk about football and things of that nature. But the Atlanta Police Department moved with the speed of light with these tips. And I also want to take my hat off to them in the U.S. Marshal Service because nobody got hurt. Derek Groves didn't get hurt, and no law enforcement got hurt. And that is remarkable. He was facing 2 life sentences. He was a desperate man. He was not facing a numbers. He was facing letters, life, which is natural life. And that puts a person in a desperate situation to do desperate things. And really the grace of God and professionalism of the U.S. Marshals and the Atlanta Police Department made sure there was no loss of life in a very dangerous situation.
Mr. DA, what more can you tell us about this particular house, the people inside, the neighborhood? Any idea how long Derek Groves was at that house? Or was this just something a place that he went to in the last day or two, or had he been hanging out there for a while?
Based on the information we have right now, it appears that he had been there for the last several days, maybe even close to a month, based upon reports from neighbors who described his face as being the face that they saw occasionally looking out of the window. In an odd way, they described other individuals coming to the back of the residence, never seeing anybody enter through the front. It is a ranch-style home in southwest Atlanta. Chief, I know you know Atlanta very well, like me. Southwest Atlanta is a neighborhood.
Right.
Lots of residents there. It was not a commercial area, which was a good place to hide, although a lot of people, including myself, find it strange that somebody facing life would not be further than Atlanta by now after this time.
Yeah, and what's the likelihood that we'll hear more about the other people who were in the home at the time of the arrest and other people that may have assisted in last few days to recent weeks?
You absolutely will hear more. I'm not going to step on the work of the Atlanta Police Department, the U.S. Marshal Service to sort that out because commenting on that now could give someone a heads up.
Right.
But I will tell you there will be investigations in Fulton County and any other place that we can backtrack Derek Groves to. Now that he's been captured, now that we've got an endpoint, you're able to go back and do a pattern of life to determine where he was the month before this, how he got there, and that will be happening. It won't be happening with the speed of light. This will take a lot more time because we want to make sure that information is accurate, that someone who unwittingly didn't know who he was in another state, who may have rented to him. We don't know those answers, but we've got to dig deep into that and find out. And this will be a cross-jurisdiction, multi-jurisdiction investigation that might even pull in the federal government because of the multi-jurisdictional nature of the case.
Chief?
Yeah, there was a weapon and drugs found on the scene. Did you have any indication, was he dealing drugs? Was he using a weapon for any type of other crimes, or you haven't gotten to that part of the investigation yet?
I think it'd be speculative of me to suggest. I can say that the amount of drugs, 16 pounds, that's a considerable amount for personal use. However, I don't have any other information that I can share at this point. There was a magazine for a high-powered rifle that was found. I believe there was another firearm that was found. And I cannot provide exactly where in the residence those things were found. But everything will be tested for fingerprints, DNA, things of that nature, see who it connects to.
Do we know whether this is a homeowner's residence or a residence that was for lease or rental?
It was a residence. It is unclear who the owner is at this moment, and all that's being held very close to the vest to determine who all was complicit and who might have been used unwittingly.
And of course, the part of the video that's gone viral is Mr. Groves puckering up and blowing a kiss. Any idea what that was about? What any context for that kiss?
I can tell you that Derrick Groves was not contrite through the two trials in which I personally prosecuted him. There was taunting of the victim's family throughout the trial, throughout the hearings and judicial process. He has Derrick Groves has a very complicated and tortured history as it comes to law enforcement and as it comes to violence. I don't think it's rational. I mean, Chief, Will, his family history with the department, with Lynn Davis and his grandmother. Although that happened before he was born, I think about 3 years before he was born.
Right.
That's a tough piece, to have everybody's grandmother is the most special person in their lives growing up, and to know and hear stories throughout your life that someone who had the public trust took her life. I think it set him on a very dangerous course, and it's worth us having some deep discussions about that now that he's back in custody. A lot of folks wanted to talk about it while he was on the run, not the right time. But yeah, that is something that we all as a community need to understand, because a lot of times children at sites of or in homes and very dangerous or violent things have happened find themselves with an unnatural connection to and relationship to violence. And I think that certainly is being borne out here, and it's a very sad, tragic story.
When you first got into law enforcement, you and I used to talk about intervention at an early age, and I think this is an indication of what happens when you don't get those intervention programs in place. We always talk about being proactive so we don't have to become reactive. Well, you see what reactive costs. We have to use all our resources from a reactive measure, whereas if we put those things in place in a proactive, it would be cost effective, and we talked about that at great length. I remember when you first started getting into the political arena, that was like 20 years ago.
Chief, I remember the conversation very, very well. We were at a dear friend of yours' home talking about it, and I remember you telling me a story about having an physical interaction with some young men around the Superdome, and some other officers wanted to arrest them and haul them off to jail. But you, in fact, said, no, won't you let me sit down and talk to them for an hour or so. And it changed the direction of those young men's lives. I think you said you ran into one years later who said, you're probably not going to remember who I was. And that's real intervention.
Yeah.
And that is real prevention.
All right, Mr. DA, we know you got quite a number of other things going on. What is the status of extradition for Mr. Groves, and what are some of the next steps?
So he'll be in court this morning for an extradition hearing. Typically, an individual who knows that everything is lined up legally in terms of their extradition will just comply and not fight that extradition. Mr. Groves is already convicted of multiple crimes. So it's my belief that he probably will not fight extradition. It would only delay the amount of time that he would be in the Atlanta jail before being processed to a facility here. So I would imagine that he'd be extradited and be in the state very, very quickly. He's gonna bypass our Orleans Parish jail, the Orleans Justice Center, and go straight to Angola for the safety of that facility and other inmates and the public. But you would expect that after that he will be sentenced by the court at CDC, which still needs to happen. But that will probably happen with him being delivered from the state penitentiary to that courtroom and then back to the state penitentiary.
Okay. And, of course, the investigation is ongoing, so Crime Stoppers is still taking tips related to the Derrick Groves case and the other escapees. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I would encourage anyone who may have had information but was fearful for their own safety for getting involved to take this opportunity to get involved now because that information is still important. It's still relevant. And at the end of the day, anybody who would help a person convicted of shooting up a house on Mardi Gras, anybody who would help that individual stay on the run is on the wrong side of justice. And so we want to make sure that we just do the right thing here. This is about all of us being safe.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. This certainly wasn't planned. We didn't know that Derrick Groves was going to get captured yesterday. And we know you have a busy day with so many things going on. So thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Good Morning Show.
Thank you, man.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
All right. Have a blessed day. All right. So we just heard from District Attorney Jason Williams, an update on the situation with the last of the 10 jail escapees who is now in custody in Atlanta, due for a extradition hearing this morning. Chief, can you give us some insight? Let's say he does not fight extradition, and so things are cleared for him to leave Atlanta and head to I guess into New Orleans or directly to Angola. But for a situation like this person has been convicted of multiple crimes. So this is not a matter of a trial on anything but perhaps this escape. But with transporting somebody like this, is this likely to be take a train, take a bus, take a shuttle, in a car? Is there going to be a flotilla of cars, or is this going to be an airplane trip? What's likely to happen?
Well, there's different levels of security. And when you look at it from perspective, he's probably a top level security individual. So I'm not going to, put the plans out there that we will use, but I'll just give examples of what could transpire. If you put the plan in place, you want to make sure that the route is clandestine. You want to make sure that there's someone with him at all times inside the vehicle. You want to make sure that there are vehicles that's going to protect the vehicle that he's in case there's an attack to try to get him to escape. Now, sometimes they'll just bypass the vehicles and do it with a helicopter, not a helicopter, but a plane, and fly the individual in. I don't know what the federal marshal's plans are, and they're not going to share it with us. But there are different levels, and there's different modes of transportation in which you transport individuals that's high risk at his. Because one thing for sure, they do not want him to get away again. And it's basically the most vulnerable part of the process is getting him from Atlanta to New Orleans. Once he gets to Angola, that's a wrap. Angola is probably one of the most secure, if not the most secure prison in the United States of America. So once they get him to Angola, then the adjudication process starts, and basically the crimes that he's committed while he escaped and outside of the escape, then that'll be adjudicated. He'll go back and forth. But from Atlanta to New Orleans, the federal marshals are very good at doing that, the transportation process, but they're going to keep that plan under wraps until he's actually safe and sound in the state penitentiary.
All right. And, of course, the Crime Stoppers number that our DA just talked about, the importance of Crime Stoppers tips. We know that there was a instrumental tip that came in a few days ago that led to the recapture of Derrick Groves yesterday in southwest Atlanta. If you have information that you think might be helpful, it might be directly something connected to Derrick Groves or somebody connected to Derrick Groves. It might not be connected to Derrick Groves, but it might be connected to the May 16th escape of the 10 people, escape or the let go, whatever it was that happened on May 16th. That Crime Stoppers number is 504-822-1111. 504-822-1111. We're going to go to break in a moment, and you are listening to the Good Morning Show. We just wrapped up conversation with District Attorney Jason Williams about the Derrick Groves case. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the news you want to know, should know, might want to know. And we're going to have a special guest, I hope, before the show wraps up today. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Tensions rise as the government shutdown stretches past a week. Reporters saw Representative Mike Lawler and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries clash on Capitol Hill.
Because you don't want to hear what I have to say. Oh, I'm listening. So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
The Senate rejected 2 bills on Wednesday. Louisiana State Police are doubling down, saying reckless driving by Black former LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacy caused a 2024 crash that killed 78-year-old Herman Hall. New video shows Lacy speeding in a no-passing zone. However, his attorney disputes the claim, citing video evidence that shows Lacy was nowhere near the crash. Lacy died by suicide in April. And Lakers legend Magic Johnson will lead the 2026 Rose Parade as Grand Marshal. Announced Wednesday, the New Year's Day event in Pasadena, California will celebrate the magic in teamwork, a fitting theme for the NBA icon. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
New Schools for New Orleans is excited to announce that our Katrina 20 exhibit, After the Storm, 20 Years of Change and Progress in New Orleans Public Education, is now open to the public. You can experience this powerful look at how our schools have transformed since Katrina at the New Orleans Public School Library's main branch, 219 Loyola Avenue, during regular business hours, now through December. Bring your friends, family members, students, and colleagues. Looking for a group visit for your school or organization? Email us at info@nsno.org.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. This is Will Sutton, and I'm here with Chief Eddie Compass, and we just got off of good conversation with District Attorney Jason Williams about the Derrick Groves case. That, of course, will be developing today, and so watch out and listen for the news of the Derrick Grove case and what's going to be developing with that. This is with him 5 months on the lam. It is now the longest escape from the New Orleans jail in recent decades, if not all of history. 5 months. However, there are folks who were out there for a much longer time from other jails, and some of them lived for decades. And I think I'm going to write about that in a column today. So you be sure to check out NOLA.com. There was one guy, he was gone so long that he changed his name, took on an alias, lived by that alias fathered a kid, gave him the kid the new name as a junior, and that kid grown into an adult, and they're fussing, and he knows dad's real story and real name, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to turn you in.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
After decades.
Man.
After decades.
That's incredible.
Decades he was gone. And it wasn't good police work. It was just, you pissed me off.
Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible.
So that's that might make my column. I don't know. Or we'll see where I end up. But welcome back to the Good Morning Show. The talk line, of course, is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. And we've got a caller, one of our favorite callers. Pop Jones, good morning. How are you?
What up, Pop?
Patience.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I've been trying all the morning.
We didn't hear
to
you.
Get in. I said I've been trying all the morning to get in.
Oh, you got it now. You guys now popped in about 20 callers ahead of you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know. Welcome back, Chief.
I'm glad to be back. I miss you, Pop.
You're always doing the good work, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're somewhere, yeah. And Will, I don't know what to say about you, Will. You cutting up. That's all I'm gonna say.
See, you know where I was going, Pop. I got him back straight.
I ain't looking for no check either.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because I get a pension.
All right. What's on your mind this morning, Pop?
Let me ask you this question. I wanted to ask the congressman this question. And you know me, I'm the father of the great John Lewis. If you see something, you say something.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I'm not a hater. I don't hate anyone. I'm a Christian person of faith. I may not like some things you're doing and what you're not doing. Maybe people may say, well, hey, all Pop John do is talk. He ain't doing nothing. You know, I mean, but I deal with truth and righteousness. So I wanted to ask the congressman a question. Is he supporting Helena Marina because she did a favor for him? Because she certainly have done nothing for my people. That's a question I wanted to ask.
Well, Pop, the congressman dealt with that over the last 2 weeks, and I think he's made it clear, you know, that it was a situation that he looked at all the candidates, and he's very respectful of all the candidates and all their backgrounds and all that they've done. And at the end of the day, you know, he made a very tough decision. And so, you know, I mean, you know, we could revisit it all day long, but I mean, the congressman went into great detail on it for 2 weeks in a row there, Pop.
I understand what you're saying, Chief. And look, forgive me for saying no disrespect to you, but that sounds like mumbo jumbo to me.
Well, you can say what you want, Pop. I mean, you've been friends for decades, so I respect you, but you got to respect me, and you got to respect the congressman. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, well, I do, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to disrespect him, because man, he's wonderful. I know his family. I know all his, all his mama and all of them.
And he's done a lot in the African American community, and he's done a lot for a lot of people. So we cannot question his resolve, But when you make decisions, sometimes when you make decisions politically, that's just that. It's just like one thing that he had to do, and he made the decision, and he's lived with it, and he's explained it. So,
but Chief, can I ask this question?
Of course.
The record they've shown is say that she don't show up at nothing concerning my people. She done missed 5, 6, 7 meetings. Her record speaks for herself. I'm not asking you for an opinion of who you voting for.
I understand.
Who we're voting for. But I'm just stating the facts.
And Pops,
she has done nothing for my people.
And Pops, that's your opinion.
And I've been talking about this before she even announced.
I understand.
Okay. All right.
See, that's all I wanted to get in. But like I said, everybody that was right. You can vote for Humpty Dumpty, if that's the choice, or not vote at all. Because that's why we're in the mess we're in now.
Yep.
Because of that foolishness. You understand?
All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for calling in again, Pop. Always good to hear from you.
Always good, Pop.
Appreciate your call. Folks, you're listening to the Good Morning Show on WBOK, 1230 a.m. The talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. It's 8:38 a.m. You're probably doing okay if you need to be somewhere for about 9. Otherwise, if you needed to be there at 8:30, you are late. So I wrote a column about the campaign chief, and that was in yesterday's newspaper. And it seems to have caused a little bit of a stir among some people because the essence of the column was about, well, white folks voting for white folks. Why can't black folks vote for black people? I mean, and I still feel that way. So I know you read it.
Oh, I read it.
You had a
few times, and and one of the things that I got from your column was, do you think that the influence of the traditional black political organizations has been watered down because of social media? And, do they have that much of an influence on actually the results of these campaigns?
Well, I think there's still influence because I think there are different demographics when you're running a campaign that is citywide or even city council district, and even with a state legislative district, there are different people you need to reach. So it's not like you're going to want to get only the people who are 18 to 35. Especially when history has told us that there are chronic voters, people who vote on the regular, on even people who are voting, even if it's only one ballot measure on the election day, that they get out and vote. Those tend to be older voters. And I think the endorsements and the mailers are intended for that group of people more than others. It doesn't mean some younger demographics don't get that information, but I think you want to get out your vote. And if you know there are dependable voters, then you want to aim to influence them in any way that you can. So certainly one of the things that we've learned from this ongoing campaign is that social media has played a huge role with this because there's social media posts of all kinds directly from campaigns and then also about campaigns from people who are related to the campaigns, not connected to the campaigns, and their social media influencers as well. So I think it's important that people know where some prominent people stand and take that into consideration. I don't think you, if you're a knowledgeable voter, you take in the information from the different people. So, for instance, in the column, I mentioned that the Data News Weekly endorsed Helena Moreno.
Right.
The Louisiana Weekly endorsed Royce Duplessis.
Right.
The New Orleans Tribune endorsed Oliver Thomas. So it's not like, and there are other black-owned and operated media, but it's not like there was like, here's the choice of all black media.
Right.
That's not what's happened, and the polling has shown that our people who were polled, because a bunch of us weren't polled, but among those of us who were polled, we are pretty evenly split among those those three candidates. However, the polling also shows that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 25% black folks who were undecided as of a week and a half ago.
You know, being someone who grew up in politics and working for Louis Charbonnet and, Don Hubbard, I learned that going door to door as a mass group of individuals from an organization was one of the big methodologies. Do you think that's superannuated and obsolete now that it's not as effective as it was in the past, or it's still effective means of getting people out?
Absolutely, it's effective. Absolutely, because unless you've been doing it for a while and you've been taking the same paths and you've been knocking on the same doors, you don't know who's going to answer the door if somebody answers the door. So it could be somebody who's not a voter. And then it's like, hey, mama, somebody's here to talk with you. And maybe mama is in the house with 3 other voters. And the fact that a candidate or a candidate's representative knocked on their door, I think that does have some influence and has some impact. But I don't think you can rely these days only on the grassroots canvassing and door-to-door knocking. But that's part of what doesn't show up in the polls.
Right.
So there's no measurement of the impact of that grassroots door knocking and canvassing and telephone banks. There's no impact of that directly, but you know it has an impact. So if you have the money, you invest in these different levels. And that's part of the campaign strategy. You decide how much to invest in a television commercial, a radio commercial, social media commercial, different posts, or grassroots or telephone banks. So I think you go at it that way. But my primary point was, if 70 to 76% of white people can say that they're voting for a white candidate, why can't black people vote for a black candidate?
Especially if they're qualified. That's the key. We have a lot of young men in this election that's African Americans qualified. So you make a very salient point.
Yep. So, but in the end, Saturday is election day, and I want people to vote. Whatever your decisions are, make sure that you look up the information that is readily available, and you'll be able to make your choices. If you're still uncertain, reach out to a friend who is more up on this than you are. And believe me, there's plenty of good resources out there for you to find out more information about these candidates. We're going to be going to break, and when we come back, we're going to be looking for a special guest.
Oh, yeah.
And we might drop another nugget or two of news and information on you before we get out of the way and get ready for the front porch. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Wake up your taste buds at Inner City Brews and Bistro, home of the famous peach cobbler pancakes. Join us for breakfast every morning from 8 to 1 and keep the flavor going all day with soulful dishes and cocktails that hit just right. Visit us at 1401 St. Bernard Avenue. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Inner City Brews and Bistro. Uniquely New Orleans, deliciously unforgettable.
Errol Williams grew up in the St. Bernard housing development. Determined to succeed, he set out on a path that strove for excellence and achieved a historic record of firsts. But nothing was more important than buying a home for his mother and eventually his own family.
To me, home is more than just a building. As your assessor, I promise to be honest, accountable, accessible, and fair. Thank you for allowing me to serve as your assessor.
Let's re-elect Errol Williams, assessor.
I'm Michelle Woodford. As NOPD chief, I managed a budget of over $180 million, accountable to the department, the city council, and most of all, to you. As sheriff, I'll bring that same discipline, real transparency, and direct accountability. Because every dollar should protect the public, not be wasted through incompetence. I'm Michelle Woodfork, and you deserve a sheriff you can trust. Paid for by Michelle Woodfork for Sheriff.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today is a WDSU First Warning Weather Impact Day. Fog is expected once again. By noon, most of that fog should clear. A few spotty showers are possible with highs in the upper 80s and low 90s, feeling warmer than that. A cold front is moving in today, completely moves in through tomorrow, and then that brings us lower humidity by Friday. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
I'm Michelle Woodfork. As NOPD Chief, I managed a budget of over $180 million, accountable to the department, the City Council, and most of all, to you. As Sheriff, I'll bring that same discipline, real transparency, and direct accountability. Because every dollar should protect the public, not be wasted through incompetence. I'm Michelle Woodfork, and you deserve a sheriff you can trust. Paid for by Michelle Woodfork for Sheriff.
New Orleans is an easy city to love. It shouldn't be a hard place to live. I'm Matthew Willard, born and raised in Gentilly, proud to carry on my family's tradition of public service. In less than 6 years, I passed 36 bills that made a difference. Now I'm running for City Council at Large Division 1 so we can keep living in the city we love. Safe, affordable, and one that gets the job done. New Orleans, let's make it happen. Paid for by the Matthew Willard Campaign.
Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Brian Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. I am Will Sutton, and with me is Chief Eddie Compass. It is 8:50 a.m. If you got to be there at 9 o'clock, you might want to get up and get going. Hopefully you're already dressed and you got your bag, your laptop, your phone. Don't forget the keys. You wear eyeglasses. Don't forget those. And, of course, still watch out for the kiddos. You want to be safe.
Yeah, well, my wife Regina is working from home, so she can just don't worry
Roll
about
on
driving.
over, huh?
Roll on over and get on that computer,
working
baby.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
All right. Well, we know there are folks who have been with us since the beginning of the show, and folks who tune in from time to time. And we've got a special guest here today, and we are very happy to have Coach Mack with us. And Coach Mack Terrence, we want to welcome you to the WBOK and the WBOK listening family. For the first time, Coach Mack is here at WBOK. And so since our listeners haven't heard you before, who your mama in there?
Who my mama in there?
Yeah.
Well, I'm from here, New Orleans, Uptown Magnolia Project. My mom is Beverly Terrence, my dad, Max Scott. Like I said, I grew up here in New Orleans, Uptown. I'm a city boy.
All right. Cool. So Chief's known you for a bit. So
yeah, you know what? I always like to highlight
doing some good work.
People that's in the community. I always talk about intervention with our youth. You know, we don't give enough credit to people like Coach Mack. So I want to use my platform at this radio station to highlight these people, show all the good things that's going on in the city. And so, Coach Mack has a program that's working with our youth. And I mean, I'm going to let him explain the program, but I mean, it's incredible. So go ahead, Coach.
The program is Cultivating Youth. It's a youth-led, black-led nonprofit where we mentor kids from the ages of 8 to 24. We pretty much target literacy, financial literacy, and health and fitness. You know, a lot of our kids are struggling right now with reading and writing. And a lot of our kids are also struggling with childhood obesity. So we use our gym and our platform to educate our kids at an early age.
How many kids do we have in the program right now?
Right now, 30.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a lot. Let me give you a little ding for that.
Absolutely.
You know, when you look at, I always try to do, my sports guys, and Coach Mack was a great athlete when he was a younger man, and he played at Coyne.
Yeah, I played basketball at Walter L. Coyne from 97 to 99. I graduated from Booker Washington, where I played basketball and football from 99 to 2001.
And then you played college football.
Yes, sir, from 03 to 05 at Southern University.
So the lessons that you learned in sports, how did that transcend on what you're doing now in the community?
It pretty much was, my mom always told me to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first. So in sports helped me learn how to be a great follower to become a great leader, because they always had a captain of the team. And I always looked up to those guys. So when I moved up, and I became the leader, I followed the guys that were before me and took their great habits and made them my own.
Well, when we look at sports, sports is a conduit for young men to get to the NFL. But unfortunately, everybody can't go to the league.
Correct.
So we try to highlight individuals who have participated in sports throughout their life and have not gone to the NFL, but have done great things in the community and great things in business. And you're an example of both of those things. So, I just wanted to put you on a platform. If you need people out there to help, what the number they could call? What's the website?
The website is cultivatingyouth.org. You can visit our website. There's several ways on there for to donate. We can need much help as possible. We one of the nonprofits that's underfunded. So we pretty much take our profit from our gym and fund our nonprofit. So right now we just started to get support from the city. So, the program is growing, so, we're going to need more support.
So is it a ongoing program, or do you have a cohort, a group of youth that you work with from 1 week for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, or do they kind of come and go? And is there an application process?
The program is year round. So
give them the address.
3445 Tyler Downer Street. It's year round. So we have our fall semester, our spring semester, and our summer. We have a full curriculum that we serve the kids from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mm-hmm. So inside those curriculums, we do career building. We do a career explosion, where if kids want to be a cook or want to be a pilot, we partner with different restaurants, Pralese, Pee Wee Crab Cakes, and we get those kids in those spaces to learn how to be a chef, to learn how to run the business. If we have kids that want to be cosmetologists, do hair barbers, we partner with those people as well. We partner with Fuller. We partner with Judge Marcus Dillard. So kids who want to get into law, they can spend a day inside the courtroom and inside the chambers to see what it is to be, the life of a judge on a daily basis. So we give those kids real experience at an early age.
What age groups are you? Who can participate? What kind of youth?
Any youth that live in Orleans Parish, between the ages of 8 and 13, and our mentor program is from 14 to 24. So we still mentor our kids once they graduate high school and get into college. Because, when I got to college, that's pretty much where I started, struggling and having, different problems, because I didn't have a mentor. I grew up in a single-parent household, and I made a lot of decisions on my own. So I still stick with those kids after they finish our program and help guide them through college so they don't make the mistakes that I made.
All right. So what is a average day, week, or month like for, say, a 10-year-old who's just starting in that program?
Well, first when they get in, we partner with Tulane University. They come in, we do homework assistance. If we have a kid that's struggling in certain areas, if it's math or reading, we isolate that kid and give them one-on-one time. From there, we get into health and fitness. We do boxing, Muay Thai, sports training. And one day out the week, they also meet with a therapist. All our kids get one session a week just for overall mental health checkup. And then from there, we cook for them every day, so they get a hot meal before they go home every day.
Wow, that's great.
But how many people you have working? How many mentors do you actually have working with you?
Right now, just me and my wife.
Okay, so you need some volunteers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, man, we just want to thank you. You've done a great job, great service to the community. And like I said, I've been coming over there helping you guys out. I'm trying to continue, growing that program.
Yeah, thank you, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Shout out to your wife. Let's mention her name.
Oh, yes, the great Mayor Terrence.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
All right. So once again, what is the name of the facility, the address, and how can people reach out online or social media or phone number?
The Motivation Team, 3445 Toledano Street. The program is Cultivating Youth. You can reach us at cultivatingyouth.org. And like I say, phone number 504-563-9403. Call that number anytime. If you have a kid in need a mentor, kid need any type of services, any type of resources we have, we'll try to help anyone.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for the everything that you do. We got a quick call, and then we're going to have to end the show. Good morning, Rochelle.
Hey, Will. Hey, Chief.
Hey,
how
Ms.
y'all
Rochelle.
doing?
We good. We got 1 minute, Miss Rochelle.
Okay, I just wanted to say hello to my good friend Mac, and a good job on his, reporting for our community and
Thank
stuff. Yay.
Thank you.
That's right.
Very good.
That's a great way to end the show.
All right. Continue y'all great work, guys. All I see is greatness sitting over there in that office, and so good job, I must say. I have to say, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a great day.
All right, fabulous. Well, thank you, Rochelle. You have a blessed day as well. Well, it's been quite a show,
Whoa.
Chief Eddie. We had Congressman Troy Carter on talking about the government shutdown and talking about the impact on our health care. And, of course, the Derek Groves thing. And we had District Attorney Jason Williams. Certainly was not a planned and scheduled guest, but with the big development of the capture or recapture of Derek Groves yesterday, it was great to have him join us to give us an update on the Derek Groves situation. We want to thank our callers, Aaron, Roy, West Bank, Matt, Reverend Calhoun, James. And we see you online, Jacqueline, Karen, Sean, Dr. Martinez, Tammy, Leslie, Patrice, Mark, Fern, Andrew, George. I know I missed 2, 3, 4, 5 other people, but we see you. We thank you for tuning in to the Good Morning Show. Lord willing, Chief and I will be back with you on tomorrow. Don't forget to make your plan to vote on October 11th, Saturday. And if you have a mail ballot, you get it in either today or tomorrow, and tomorrow by 4:30 is the deadline. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Have you